What's up, people? In this video we're going to talk about why you should eat the same thing every single day. Yeah, you should, okay? I know some of you out there, you're like, what? I have to eat the same thing every day? Oh my God, I gotta cross the street. Yes, you have to eat the same thing every day. I know maybe you think it's boring. Maybe you're like, but I don't want to eat the same thing every day. I want to experience the joy of different foods hitting my tongue and making me feel that momentary release of dopamine and pleasure. Because my life is so awful that the only thing I have to look forward to is that just tiny moment where I get to taste my food. And different food every day, because eating the same thing every day would be boring. So we're going to break into that right now. Subscribe to my channel if you have not. Subscribe button down there. And check out legendarysuitjamas.com. They make suits, silk, pajamas, blah, blah, blah. Link in the description. Okay, now, why do you need to eat the same thing every day? Now, okay, I feel like I say this a lot, but this is really more aimed towards women and men too. But in my experience, I found that, and I could be totally wrong, right? Please feel free to correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But in my experience, women don't like to eat the same thing every day, whereas guys are more, we don't care. Like, it's easier for us to like get into a routine of what we're eating, I guess. Like many times in my life, I have, when I was living in California, I would finish a workout. This is when I was younger. I'd finish a workout, I'd go to In-N-Out, I'd get my double-double, I'd get my fries, I'd get my Diet Coke, and I would eat it. And that was like my routine for like a month or 2 months, And then, I had my other routine while I was here about eating the raw meat, and then, having raw meat and peanuts and eggs. And now, currently, I have a routine of eating shakshuka, which is this Israeli dish. It's got lots of vegetables and eggs. And it's really good. I've eaten it like 5 days in a row, okay? Now, for you, why should you eat the same thing every day? There's a couple reasons, okay? The main reason, and this is really for if you are trying to, like, it really doesn't matter what your goal is. Okay, obviously, like, we're gonna talk about weight loss, but also even to just maintain or even to gain weight, right? You should eat the same thing every day for a couple reasons. Obviously, not until the end of time. You should, rotate it up a bit. But I would say the same thing every day for like 2-3 weeks is a good like cycle to do it in. Why? Because so reason number one, when you eat the same thing every day, you're less likely to cheat on your diet and break down and go buy a bunch of Oreos or whatever. Okay, that's very simple, very basic. Like, for example, what I tell people to do and what I do myself is that I say, eat 80% of your calories as healthy natural foods, okay? Whether that's raw meat, whether it's raw eggs, whether it's oatmeal and eggs, whether it's whatever, anything, something that's healthy. Okay, 80 to 90% of your calories should be in healthy food, preferably once a day. I like to eat at night. I know people say like morning is the new time to eat. I personally eat at night. I don't want to, it's just what I prefer. Whatever, okay? Eat once a day, eat most of your calories as healthy food. Okay, now, why should you, and when you get this dialed in, okay, like for example, when I was doing it, when I was eating the raw meat, I knew I would buy 3 packages of 200 grams of meat each, and I would eat those, and then I would eat roughly the equivalent of a half a cup of peanuts, right, roasted peanuts, and then I would eat, then I'd have like my little weird Japanese snacks or whatever. And then maybe, I'd have like a little tiny bit of ice cream after I was like, oh my God, like already stuffed and could not eat another bite. So the first benefit to eating the same thing every day is that you start to learn more about when you will get extremely full to the point where you're not able to eat anymore. Okay, so number one, you're able to learn a lot more about your body specifically. And number two, when you eat the same thing every day, when you're keeping that variable constant, you'll be able to get a better idea of how different types of workouts affect your appetite. So one thing that I've learned over the years is that, and this might seem obvious to those of you who are fitness people, but one thing that I've learned over the years is that when I do weight training, right, if I'm in the gym like actually lifting weights, my appetite is much higher. That's how I'm gonna do this. My appetite is much higher than if I am doing lots of cardio or if I'm doing body weight workouts. Or even, when I was doing Muay Thai in Thailand, like and I considered those workouts to be much harder, right? Because you gas out a lot quicker. It's much harder than like standing in one place in the gym and lifting something and putting it back down. However, I noticed that my appetite has never been bigger than when I am lifting weights, okay? Now, how did I realize this? Because I ate the same food every day. When you eat the same food every day, you know, okay, normally I get full. Ugh, what's going on here? Normally I get full from 600 grams of raw meat. Today, 600 grams of raw meat, I'm still fucking starving. Okay, what's the difference? Okay, well today I did a weight-based workout instead of a cardio-based workout, or body weight or whatever. It must be that. Okay, so you're able to learn a lot more about your body when you keep certain variables fixed. Okay, that's number 2. Number 3, let's see, is there a number 3? Eat the same food every day, helps control your appetite, learn more about your body. I guess that's kind of it. I don't know, maybe I had a third one, I'm not really sure. So anyway, how can you do this, right? What I would recommend, all right? Now, the way you want to do it is you don't want to eat the same food every day like for the rest of your life until the end of time. That's boring and you're going to go like insane trying to do that. What you should do, what I found works for me, too many people. What I found works for me is having kind of like a cycle of a few meals that I can eat based on what I have been doing and what my goals are and what I need to do in the immediate future. So what I mean by that, in the past month, I would say, I've had a cycle of 3 different types of meals, okay? One would be what I consider to be high nutrient, I guess, high protein, high everything, really. And that would consist of lots of raw meat and then lots of, high calorie dense foods, like lots of peanuts is what I was eating, and a couple eggs, and then, some carbs afterwards. That would be my meal for when like I'm working out really hard and I want to like maybe put on a little bit more muscle, right? And then after that, put on a little bit more muscle, notice I started to get a little bit fat. So I was like, okay, I need to like tone it down a little bit. Maybe I'll do some cardio. So then what I would do, I switched my meal to oatmeal and eggs, and I would eat, I don't know, maybe like a half package of oatmeal, maybe like a cup of oats. I don't really know, I'm just making up numbers here. Let's say a cup of oats with maybe 4 or 5 eggs mixed in. I would eat that, and then I would have another 4 or 5 eggs, like raw eggs, and just drink them. And then on top of that, maybe I'd have like a little bit less peanuts, and all right, anyway, that's the other meal. And then the third meal, which I'm doing right now, is the shakshuka, which is the Israeli dish that's very high in vegetables, has a lot of vegetables, has a lot of onions, has a lot of garlic, lots of spices, and I couple that with maybe 4 or 5 eggs, which is what the recipe calls for. It's got eggs in it. And then on top of that, I'll have maybe 6 raw eggs that I drink, okay? So total, maybe a dozen eggs, which like maybe you think that sounds like a lot, like, oh my God, a dozen eggs a day? Yeah, a dozen eggs a day. You try that, you tell me how you feel. You'll feel very good, okay? Okay, so those are my 3 meals. That's my rotation, right? Now, if I have a day where I'm like, like, I guess you could say this is where maybe the scale, weighing yourself on a scale would come in handy. But I think that you can just kind of tell by looking at your body, whether or not you should eat more calorie dense food or less calorie dense food. But okay, let's say you can't, right? You look at the scale and you think, I've gained a pound. Maybe I should have the vegetable based meal. Maybe that's a little bit better to have right now. Or tomorrow I've got a really, really big workout. Maybe I should have the oatmeal and eggs. So I have more low GI carbs, more like gas in the tank for when I need to do this 3-hour workout tomorrow. Hopefully you guys are doing 3-hour workouts from time to time, or any kind of workout, honestly. Okay, so does that make sense? And anyway, the point of what I'm trying to say, when you eat the same thing every day, it just takes a lot of thought out of the whole eating process. Obviously eat foods that you like, obviously eat stuff that tastes good to you, obviously eat as much as you want until you're full and you can't eat another bite, especially if you're working out on a daily basis. I'm not saying like restrict your calories or anything like that, but just, make sure you're just trying to eat the same thing every day, just try it. And for you ladies out there who like, this sounds like insane to you, like you have to cook something different every single night, I don't know, like live your life, obviously, right? But if your goal, like this is just one additional trick that you have in the bank that you can use if you're trying to achieve a higher level of health, right? It just makes it easier, you know? It's like how billionaires all wear like the same t-shirt every day, right? Mark Zuckerberg wears his little turtlenecks, and Steve Jobs, or was that Steve Jobs wears the turtlenecks? Mark Zuckerberg wears the sweaters? I don't know. Anyway, let me know in a comment what you think about eating the same thing every day. Have you ever eaten the same thing every day? And how did that affect your gains or your weight loss? Let me know in a comment. Am I right? Am I an idiot? Or am I an idiot that's also right? Maybe. Subscribe to my channel. Check out legendarysuitjammers.com. Link in the description. Peace.